Welcome back, everyone, to the AWS studio here at Mobile World Congress Barcelona. I'm here with fantastic panelists from AWS, Spark New Zealand, and Snowflake to talk a little bit more about accelerating data-based transformation using software as a service. Start with a round of intros. Over to you, Ajay.
Hi, my name is Ajay Rane. I lead global business development for the telco business at AWS.
Hi, Matt Bain. I lead the marketing and data teams at Spark.
Hi, I'm Fawad Qureshi, the industry field CTO for Snowflake.
So we have a few returning guests here, and Ajay and Fawad, thank you both for joining us again. But Matt, welcome to the AWS studio. I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit more about your role at Spark and specifically how your team developed Bain.
Yeah, so at Spark I lead our brand marketing teams for our brands and also our data analytics capability. And like many telcos, we're all about acquiring and retaining our customers. We also suffer from not knowing necessarily what they need on a day-to-day basis. So if 2% are in market every month, we might be wasting 98% of our marketing budget, which is a terrible thing to do. So we've developed something we call Bain. It stands for Build Robust AI for Next Best Action, which I didn't make that up. It was made, not the marketers, but our data teams that build the product actually name the product. So essentially, it's built on using Snowflake as kind of where the data comes from. But then it's a series of machine learning predictive models that will tell you when a customer's in market, and affinity models will tell you what they like. Do they like music? Are they into sports? And then a decisioning engine across that, which identifies which customers are in the market on any given day, identifies the right product for them, and sends them the offer.
So it's all about customer experience or customer 360, being a
100%.
huge theme we're hearing here with software as a service.
Yep.
Is that, I know you've been hearing a lot about that for a while. We've been talking a lot about that this year. How does that align with Snowflake's overall data strategy?
More broadly, talking about the whole as-a-service experience.
Yeah.
I always believe that a good technology or a good solution needs to be invisible. What do I mean by that, right? So all of us have water heater, boiler, geyser at home, right? So the purpose of those is you get into the shower, you turn it on, you get hot water every single time. If you start talking to your partner every day about the water heater, the only reason it is broken. You should never talk about the water heater, something that works in the background. That's the whole essence of the as-a-service experience. What Spark has built with Bain is allowing their customers to use their brain for intelligent stuff, not the mundane activities. And this is what Snowflake and AWS has built together, that we will take away all those mundane actions that are required underneath. And then what Spark has done on top of that is, let's take it to the next level. Let's provide this as an application as a service to to internal consumers as well as external users to make use of those capabilities so they can leverage different kind of insight for customer 360, customer experience, and much, much more.
So the impact of Bain has been so tremendous. Matt, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the impact to your customers?
Well, yeah, so there's impact. The impact shows up to our customers in kind of frictionless experiences. So number one, we don't contact you and annoy you to give you a promotion if you're not ready for one, right? So that ability to predict what a customer's in the market for and what configuration of that thing, right? So if I'm in market for an upgrade of a phone, then maybe if I'm into music, I get the Spotify package with that, right? So we can predict that and we can serve that. Now we measure success at an interaction level. And reinforced learning means that every customer that we have an interaction with, if it's successful or not, the system learns from that. So it's continually learning. That's that. But now when we first created this for ourselves, we had teams building those models manually. Right? So every time we wanted a new campaign, we want to sell pizza now, we needed a pizza inference model, had to be built. The current state is you don't need a team. You need to just tell the system the outcome, and it will find, using all the variables it has, the model to predict that outcome over time. So that's that's how it shows up for consumers. For our teams, it means that a lot of the mundane stuff, creating the campaigns, trafficking them, is done. Right? So we're away at Christmas in New Zealand. We go away for Christmas. Everyone leaves the office, and the system just runs. Campaigns still going. Right? So marketers are required to think about what the new campaigns would be, think about insights, test things, and then they've got this massive multivariate testing engine they load those ideas into, which then validates them or not for them.
So automation, personalization, customization, these are the perfect ingredients for a software as a service solution, right, Ajay?
That's
This is
right.
exactly what we're looking for.
That's exactly right. And in fact, what Spark has done is created this amazing MarTech platform that not only has been validated internally with their campaigns, also to their enterprise customers, but now we are helping them SaaSify the product so that it can be scaled and offered to other telcos to consume internally, as well as to other telcos customers, enterprise customers, to use similar to what Spark is doing.
So now we're moving ahead here. We're in the middle of the movie. We've developed the Bain solution. We want to scale this. We want to turn this into a scalable SaaS solution.
That's right.
What happens now? When you talked about SaaSify, what does that actually mean, and how do we as AWS empower customers and partners, the likes of Spark New Zealand, to SaaSify?
So what we did at Spark New Zealand was looked at their platform and, of course, their ambition to scale this platform and offer it as a subscription, as a SaaS service to other telcos and to other enterprises, even outside of the region. So one of the first things we did was we brought in our professional services team to help us understand how the platform was built and restructure it so that it can be launched as a SaaS solution for others to consume. And so that was the process that we engaged with to help them generate additional revenues from this platform by launching it as a SaaS solution available to the global industry.
And throughout that process, Matt, I think it's really cool to have a CMO here to really reflect on the engagement with AWS. A lot of times we work with directors of engineering, CTOs, CTOs. I'd love to pick your brain on your experience working with cloud partners and your unique perspective. What did you observe? What did you love? What was your experience?
I think it would not have. Well, this happened really quickly, right? So it was amazing how fast you guys helped us put this together and launch it. Telcos aren't experts at building SaaS products, like fact, right? So to have people who were familiar with that environment, had existing capabilities around security and privacy and multi-tenancy capability, and understood how to build a scalable platform that was future-facing. For us, that was key to going through the effort of going, we've got this IP, how do we take it to market? So for us, I think it was crucial to have these guys on board to be able to make that happen.
And then from the Snowflake perspective, Fawad, what was your experience working with AWS and Spark New Zealand on this transformation?
I mean, it has always been a great experience, working together with AWS. In this case, it was a 3-way collaboration, helping the customer achieve the maximum business goal, building that full as-a-service experience, collecting all of this data from all those internal and external channels, to build that, like Ajay said, to build that MarTech solution that could power not just telcos, but also other industries. So all in all, top grade collaboration across the board.
So one thing that's clear for me from this conversation, it's speed to develop and speed to market being a huge benefit of what we've achieved here. But I'd love to go around the horn, starting with you, Ajay, in terms of the value proposition of Bain in this new SaaS model from the AWS perspective, and then from each of you too.
So from an AWS perspective, as Matt said, helping our customers develop an end solution, a SaaS solution, is of key importance for us. And speed matters disproportionately for us, and then that's what we did. So that was our first objective, is to get to market quickly. Second, how can we help our customers scale that product? And that is another mechanism through our AWS Marketplace, being able to offer that as a delivery mechanism for all of their customers, both inside New Zealand as well as other telcos and other enterprises outside of their region.
And for Spark, it was clearly taking an existing IP we had and partnering to go, how do we take this, make it accessible, find product market fit in other markets with this capability? And then as we do that, help us with continually developing and rolling it out and scaling it across the world. We're in one market in the world, but we're looking at other markets. And so having global partners that can take us on that journey is also important.
And Robert, as we have discussed previously as well, we talk about how telecom powers other industries. So we at AWS, we talk about digitizing industries. We talk about powered by telecoms and different kind of concepts. So this is right at the heart of it. Right? So a solution that was built by a telecom using the customer data to help marketers build the right MarTech platform. Building that AI platform for next best action. Once it was deployed at scale, now that product is ready for prime time across other telcos as well as other industries. And that's what we see. And this is the perfect example of how telcos can power other industries, retailers, manufacturers, other airlines, and whatnot.
Yeah, totally agree. It's a tremendous achievement, and it's a proof point for digitizing industries, telco-led.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really, really unique example of this tri-party collaboration. So we go back to you, Matt, for a second. Your vision. Vision starts with Bain. What's next?
So we've got lots of other IP that we've been developing internally. This is I'm in marketing, so we started there, right? But we built this platform internally at Spark to scale across our entire enterprise. If you think of a digital twin of a telco, that was kind of where we started. So we're using the very same capability inside our business to go to our enterprise business. It pulls back from our network, so we've got the demand and the supply side connected together. So this is the first thing to scale. We're very focused on this for now, but in the future, there's opportunity to go, what's the next piece of IP that we might take to the market, to a different segment.
And as we look to scale similar initiatives, Fawad, what are you thinking about that the next year or two can entail around this SaaS journey?
Yeah, one data point that I would want to highlight here. There was a research by TM Forum where they studied multiple telecoms across the globe on their penetration of B2B in the market. And Spark came at top, I believe, just over 50%, closer to 55% of the revenue coming from B2B. And that's and the typical industry average right now for B2B is somewhere between 10 to 15%. And TM Forum called it the untapped market. So imagine at the scale of any major telco in any major country, you can get an uplift of 35% revenue. We're talking about a few $1 billion. So this is the impact what B2B, doing B2B through data-driven lens could achieve. So this is what has been achieved at Spark, and this could be a template for others to follow. And that's the whole thing. I believe that other telecom customers and other industries could learn from what Spark has achieved today.
Fantastic insight. And in our race to the next level, a campaign we have here at Mobile World Congress, various thematically organized our show floor space. I believe in our software as a service domain, we have SaaSperts, as we call it, experts in SaaS. So in your SaaSperts view, what's the next level of software as a service used to transform telco business?
Right. So first of all, we're very fortunate to work with Spark and such an innovative telco, being able to lead the way by showing the industry what can be done in the SaaS domain. Solutions that you've developed for internal consumption, how do you monetize them by offering them? So in the future, we're looking at more initiatives coming out of Spark, as well as other innovative telcos around the world, and looking at, for example, new opportunities and new mechanisms such as APIs and monetizing APIs. There's other things that we're doing in the smart home space, looking at eSIM initiatives and several other domains that are relevant to the telcos, and bringing those solutions that they have developed for internal consumption and scaling them globally.
Well, in Ajay's words, Matt, thank you for taking the lead, showing us the art of the possible, and really building out this fantastic collaboration between the three partners here. So thank you so much.